Oh, hello, I'm on for beautiful Brooksons and Brooksons to the one for beautiful Maverick Nation. I'm the Russian Maverick, and welcome to part, I believe, 4? I don't freaking know. Hmm. 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 I think it's 4. Of what if I was in MHA with my squad? Yes. Last part was freaking USJ. The whole dormitory system was, like, put in there. Oh shit. The whole king caboodle. Yeah. Yeah. And now we have the UA Sports Festival upon us. It was the day of the sport festival, and all through UA, not a single student was stirring. Not even. I can't find a single student that's name would rhyme with the previous shit. I was just trying to do something like with the night before Christmas. Never mind. I could try to exaggerate a name and say like Pony, like for pony, but this is 1B student, and this is mainly 1A focused. So basically, yeah. Me, my squad, the rest of Class 1A, Class 1B, and General Studies. We're all basically, being in our PE clothes. But for some odd reason, my Reiatsu, I kind of can't get it to stop turning my PE clothes white, like Aizen's Ankara wardrobe and shit, like white and some black. I'm just like, sorry, but I can't seem to get my Reiatsu to stop. So I guess it's just gonna have to be how it be for the time being. Basically, I'm like, where the hell is Izuku? Like, I'm looking for Izuku, and I don't see Izuku. That's basically whenever Principal Natsu and All Might would just exclaim that. Sorry to say, like, All Might would be like, sorry to say, young, Jiro. And then I'm just like, just say young Mai. Because, most of the people call me Mai-kun, so just say young Mai. A certain part of that sentence I said a little bit lower than the other. Sorry to say, young Mai-kun, but, Deku seemed, basically, Izuku seemed to develop a little bit of a sickness. So he cannot participate. And I'm like, wait, he's sick? With what? I can use my Hakudo to heal him. If it's nothing major, like too major. I mean, if it's only a minor setback. And then Principal Natsu would be like, oh, it's far from not major. But, it's not like it's going to kill him or anything. So don't be worried. And I'm like, well, you just said it's not far from major. Like, how am I not supposed to be worried now? And then Nezu would be like, because if you were so worried that you weren't going to participate either, I don't think Izuku would be very happy about that now, would he? And I'm like, he knows things. That guy knows some things. I'm surprised he hasn't already ratted me out. I can tell from the look at All Might's face and Aizawa's face that he hasn't told either of them. Surprised that little mouse thing, musketeer thing, principal that we have, hasn't ratted me out yet. He knows things. But the others don't. And I'm just like, well, Nezu, I'll compete in the sports festival if you keep me updated on Izuku's status. And Nezu's like, well, we can't lose anyone else. I will indeed do so, or at least try to do so as much as possible. You know how fickle time can be these days? And I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just try and keep me updated on Izuku. I need to make sure he's okay. If not one way, then in another. And All Might's just like about to pull a George Takei, like, oh my. And I'm like, if you even dare, I will kill you. You did realize I had that burn braid dead that was made to kill you before you even arrived. So yeah, don't even dare, or I will kill your ass. So the first match for me, basically I'm in Izuku's place now. So every match Izuku would have had, I would have whenever it came to the 1 versus 1. Basically 1v1. But before that, there's the obstacle course. Do I even have to say? I just freaking make right out to footholds to basically just, Kirby my way through the entire obstacle course. Not get hit single, once. There's a whoop, 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 whoop. And then I just drop whenever it comes to the end of it. And I'm like, I didn't want to use Shunpa. That would have been a little bit of a cheat. So I decided to keep even pace with at least some of the contestants. At least as much as even pace as I could stand, seeing how slow they're moving. And Bakugo and freaking Todoroki are just freaking gasping for air, trying to keep up. Even, just doing the whole, foothold thing. I'm outpacing them. Basically, with all that done, now we come to the cavalry battle. Basically, the only members I would get from my team would be members of my own squad. In which, Kendall, Joshua, and Tyler. So yeah, I just looked over the quirks there for a second. Kendall with her quirk, Blade Vines, and Tyler with his quirk being Crash Down. You know, the electric fire shit. And Joshua's quirk being Nitrogen. Basically, what I have happen is basically Micah be at the, not Micah, but Joshua. Joshua be at the bottom. And well, honestly, since I was in the place of Izuku and I won the race, I would have the 10,000 point headband, and I would want myself to be on the top to try to make it hard, really hard for people to get me. Basically, what I have happen next is, well, Joshua at the bottom, and then there would be on Joshua. There would be Tyler, and then on on Tyler, there would be Kendall, and on Kendall, there would be me. Like, we would be stacked up on top of each other. Well, not really on top of each other for everyone, because basically what I would have happen is I would basically have Kendall wrap her quirk around me in the way to where the blades wouldn't touch, but the vines would. And have the vines raise up all the way up in the air, really far up, so that no one could get to me unless they had a flying quirk or something that allowed them to levitate. But then again, they'd have to worry about the other shit, like the nitrogen and the electric fire and the actual blades. So, yeah, basically, the only reason why the nitrogen would be all that important is because I could just, and I literally do, have, everybody in the area just to get automatically flash freezed by that, nitrogen cold. But I have Tyler use Crash Down on the nitrogen to, have it not kill everyone, basically. To create internal warmth so that they don't all die. So I would basically proceed on to the next, round of everything. You know, the one-on-ones. But I'd be wondering why, apparently, according to news from Principal Nesu, my squad, they all seem to have just disappeared. And the time in between, the whole, thing with the cavalry battle and the one-on-ones. It just seemed to have disappeared. And I'd be like, okay, this is really weird. First, Izuku, my beta, gets sick. And then all my squad just up and disappear. What the f is going on? And then Monoma would just pop out the frick out of nowhere and be like, oh, I'll tell you what's going on, you Class 1A scum. But that's not the only reason why you're scum. don't exactly appreciate werewolves being in our class. You may not be full werewolf, but you're even worse. You're making their kind even stronger through being a literal Vasta Lord a Hollow werewolf. And I'm like, oh yeah, that. Wait, why the fuck do you care? Like, why do you give a shit? Who even told you? And Mono would just be like, don't act like there was nobody spying around. I need to make sure that you aren't planning anything devious for the survival of my people. And then I would be like, wait, what? You were spying on me? Wait, your people? No. And then it would be, basically, Monoma would be like, yes. This is shocking, being in the presence of one after so long. You thought you would escape. At least your kind did. But now, with the power of Sosuke Aizen, that just puts an even bigger target on your back. It's almost like you're saying, hit me, vampires, hit me. And I'm like, you son of a... If you hurt Izuku or any of my friends, I will kill you. That'll be the least of your worries as I drag you to hell. And, Monoma would just be like, heroes don't kill. I just like thrust my hand into his throat and all the way into a wall and be like, funny thing. Sasuke Aizen was never known to be that much of a hero. In fact, Shinji only made Aizen his vice captain whenever he did because he didn't trust him. And if that tells you anything, it tells you that I'm not like others. I don't give a shit. So, vampire, get the hell away from my friends and my pack, or else you will suffer the wrath of werewolf kinds. True alpha. And Monoma would just be like, oh, that would be great and all. And then he'd be like, but not. By the way, you ever heard of the phrase devil on your shoulder? Well, I think you have every reason to now. Lucifer, Grim Reaper, accost this fool while I make my way down the line. And he would just summon the devil himself and the Grim Reaper to like try to kick my ass. And then he would just walk out of the room thinking that he won. Yeah, emphasis on thinking that he won. Because literally, like, I have to fight the devil and the Grim Reaper now. And he thinks I can't do it. He's wrong. He is dead wrong. Because as soon as I get into a battle stance, I just be like, you two aren't worth it. And then basically Lucifer would just be like, yeah, what tells you that? And I just like shooting Poe behind him before he could even blink. And I'm like, that's what proves it. And then I'd just be like, how to number 33, Sokatsui. And just blast a hole through the freaking devil's chest. And then the Grim Reaper will be like, okay, I'm just gonna back off. No need to remind me twice. That's just enough as it is. Wait, what's that sensation? Wait, are you using your spiritual pressure? Dude, what the? My body. And I'm just like, you really think that you can get away? Oh, please. And I would just put my paw, my paw on, like the Grim Reaper said, smash his skull down into the ground, and I'd be like, Kurohitsuki, Hado number 90, Kurohitsuki. And like, boom! I would have just like put a hole through the devil, and then put a hole, just annihilated the Grim Reaper. And then, like, not much, like, long after, I would just would have looked over to Lucifer as he would have been crawling away in fear, and I'd just be like, Hado number, whatever number it is, I still haven't checked. Right, go home. And Lucifer would be like, fuck. Just like, yeah, I would have just killed both the devil and the Grim Reaper. And then I'd just walk out, and no one would be like, how the hell is he still alive? And then Kendo would be like, did you really think that was going to work? And, Monma would be like, shut up, Kendo. And before you even try to hit me, you do realize who your superior is. And Kendo would be like, yeah, someone who couldn't even get the devil and the Grim Reaper to kill that guy. And Monma would be like, I said, shut up. He'd be releasing some killing intent on Kendo. Yes, and this Kendo doesn't even get to hit Monma. Because he has the power to release, like, vampire killing intent. That's, like, at the top of his numbers. It's like how I can release werewolf killing intent that's at the top of my numbers. Seeing as I'm an alpha, and he's basically a vampiric lord. So yes, werewolf alpha versus vampiric lord. And I would just be like, you, anything you did here today has to do with the disappearance of my squad, or Izuku, don't lie to me, because the more you lie to me, the more I'll break your bones and use them as doggy treats for the rest of my pack. Maybe me if I feel like it. And Mono would just be like, fine. You're so just freaking and be a drama queen about it. You must know, Izuku's problem isn't because of us. We don't even know, like, half what it could have been. That is, unless what we're suspecting is true. But, that doesn't have anything to do with us. That has everything to do with you. And about your squad, well, if you tried to kill either me or Kendo, or anyone else that was a part of my basically any other vampire here, I'm sure, under the pretense of a misunderstanding, you would be sent to prison, and you'd never be able to see your pack again. And you know us vampires, we always come back. And without an alpha to support them, what would be of your pack? Nothing. That's it. Nothing. And well, we thought at first, seeing as you called them your squad, that might be another code name for pack. We weren't exactly completely all that well informed about the actual exchange to which you got members of your pack. We didn't know if you fully practiced the ways of the werewolf yet, or if you were just pulling consensual visits because you can. You would. We didn't know, so it is indeed true that vampires were sent after your squad. As you call them? And well, it's safe to say they're not going to be any problem anymore. And I'd just be like, you killed them whenever they weren't around any hero that could save them. You murdered them. And one would just be like, of course, we're vampires, you're werewolves. We hate you. And I'm like, you idiots. I hadn't performed a ceremony yet. Meaning, none of them were werewolves. I was the only one. So you killed them for no reason other than that you thought that they already were. And my mom would just be like, Spaghetti-O. Like I even care. As long as there's less of you to worry about, the better things come around. And I would just be like, you. And basically the first fight of the 1v1s will pop up. Well, at least first fight for me. Seeing as all of Izuku's fights are now all my fights. And I'm like, figuring out that whatever happened to Izuku has nothing to do with any of the vampires. That I just now realized just popped out of nowhere. That makes life a lot harder for me. They can just summon like denizens of the chaotic realm out of their freaking anything and everything. And if Lucifer and the Grim Reaper weren't proof enough that they could summon denizens of the chaotic realm, I mean, I don't know what is. I'm just like, well, at least now they know I can kill denizens of the chaotic realm. Just as easy, if not easier, than the previous werewolf alpha. Usually you would have to defeat the previous alpha in order for you to become the alpha. But no, just in me being me, I already have made my own pack. The strongest pack. Though, I do indeed admit, I will indeed have to commit to the ceremony sooner or later. And Izuku will be the first one. Since this sickness has something to do with what happened, I need to commit to the ceremony fast if I am to save Izuku and to set things right. Basically, Nazu gets out the news that they did find dead bodies outside of Iway. You know, dead bodies of like several people in Class 1A. But, you know, they don't make the mistake of thinking that's the serial killer stain because, oddly, this doesn't exactly look like his style whenever it pertains to killing. And there's no, like, sort of message left behind. They can't even really tell what style of killing this is. And I'd just be like, man, that's why this FWA must be really freaking dense. It's pretty obvious to at least me that's the vampire style of killing. That is, if they're not wanting to kill in order to commit to the ceremony of their own kind. I even admit the ceremony of my own kind is, you know, a way that basically, you know, adds more to the pack. In other words, they kind of have to die before they can become part of the pack, truly. You know, and by part of the pack, I mean actual other werewolves. But, you know, I'm stronger than the previous alpha because of the fact that not only am I, like, ridiculously strong, shown whenever I basically just kicked Lucifer and the Grim Reaper's ass all the way back to the Chaotic Realm, but I can control my werewolf transformation. Unlike usual Lycropenthe, or whatever the frick it's pronounced as, I can control whenever I transform. Oh, sure, the full moon is a good catalyst for my transformation, but, you know, if I don't want to transform at the full moon, I won't transform into the full moon. I just have to use my Reiatsu to block whatever effect the full moon has on my body. And I can do this pretty easy because I can sense whenever the full moon's around. And so I can sense whenever I need to raise my Reiatsu. So basically, yeah. I can basically, you know, control when or when I don't want to, you know, transform. Like, it doesn't matter if it's day or night. I can stay transformed. Or if I don't want to transform, I won't transform. It's all the matter of Reiatsu, my dear friends. Reiatsu. And it helps having someone like Aizen as your basis for Reiatsu. You know, it would also help being trained by someone who has Aizen as a basis for their Reiatsu. You know, to make their training for, like, Reiatsu shit, like, easier. Basically, I'm like, okay, my first fight against this, Hitoshi Shinso person. And I'm just like, last time I checked, this guy, I heard that he had some sort of quirk that basically did something to your head. If that doesn't scream also a vampire, then I don't know what does. Or does. Yep. This Hitoshi Shinso guy, also a vampire. Even General Studies has assholes in them. Basically, whenever the first stealth fight comes up, you know, Shinso would start talking some shit, and I would know what he was trying to do, and I would just be like, pull some Kiba and Akamaru shit. I would just pull like some sort of Getsuga, and be like, BAM! 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 Man, you knocked that guy so like hard 3 different times, like you know that shit, and just like all the way into a wall, like Shinso would have been just decimated. And I would have been like, that's what you get, vampire. And then, whenever it comes on for the next 1v1 for me, would be me versus Ida. And I'd be like, ah, shit. Excuse me. I really don't want to have to fight one of my pack. Well, I guess I'll just make the match quick then. And just as soon as the match starts, Ida tries to pull up a reciprocal burst, but the next second, he knows he's on the ground, panting, and realizing that it's really hard for him to breathe. And it's almost like I just have like my claws sticking into his neck, like, don't move, or else you're dead. I didn't want to have to hurt you, so I just tried to end this in the fastest way possible. I'm sorry if that hurt your pride, but there are bigger problems than just the UA Sports Festival alone afoot here. Anita would kind of whisper, like, what bigger problems? And I would just be like, vampires. And no, I am not shitting you. Legit vampires. And they can summon other denizens from the chaotic realm, such as Lucifer and the Grim Reaper. I could tell. I had to kill those guys in order to get out here. Which wasn't really all that hard. That one guy really thought he could just defeat me by summoning freaking Grim Reaper and Lucifer. He really thought that he could stop me by doing that. That one of the guys really fucking stupid. And he would just be like, should we tell the others? And I'd just be like, well, I'm scheduled to fight next. Shoto, and then Bakugo. Possibly. If my luck is as shitty as it is now. Good God. Well, at least, after everything is done, I can inform you guys all on what I should have informed you in the first place. Just in case something like this were to happen. The ritual. Werewolves and vampires both have their own version. It was all the way from back whenever it was just one singular species. The Like Empire. That was back whenever they had great harmony. Something split them up again. Sure, they used to be at war with each other, but then whenever they made peace, the Like Empire was created. Their kind. Why has there become plight between our two species again? I would have thought with the advent of the Like Empire species that wouldn't have happened. But apparently I was wrong. In the chaotic realm, from what I'm beginning to sense using my own Reiatsu, the split in between the Like Empire species, which caused the plight seems to have been mostly caused by that of the chaotic realm's powers. I see. We must destroy the chaotic realm somehow, and bring peace back to our people. However many vampires we have to kill, or how many denizens of the chaotic realm we have to kill along the way, well, that will be yet to be seen. And Ida would just be like, so the chaotic realm, this chaotic realm you're talking about, is the reason why you guys can't seem to get along anymore? And I'm like, yep. As long as there is order, there will be chaos. But this new version of that chaotic realm, after being destroyed so many times, seems to have only gotten stronger. We need to find a way to create total order without chaos. We need to completely dislodge chaos out from this realm and create a realm of pure order, not in the way of restriction, in a way of complete happiness for all parties involved. I can sense the talk of there needing to be chaos in order for there to be order, an ultimate force of evil in order for there to be an ultimate force of good. And that's a crock of bullshit. Anyone who's lived long enough as the other werewolf alphas can tell you that. It's a load of crock of bullshit. It's only been told to appease the gods that think that this way of life is funny. Yeah, the gods can be real assholes sometimes. Don't ask me why. I don't know, and I don't care. The only thing I really care about is making sure that my pack are okay, and that we can end this plight between the two species, werewolf and vampire, once and for all, and end the chaotic realm once and for all. But in order to do that, we have to truly hit chaos where it hurts the most. Only then will we be able to destroy it permanently and create a permanent source of true good without any daunting evil. That would hinder the process of rebuilding for all this realm. And Yuta would just be like, should I tell the others? And I'd be like, sure, if you can find a way to tell them without them freaking out or causing any more of a, panic than what's already been caused. And he was like, can do, Alpha. And I'd just be like, very well, Omega. And then Ida would just be like, pew! And he would just go off. And, Ida would tell Shoto and Bakugo about the whole thing with the chaotic realm and chaos and the vampires and how they kind of split from the whole Lycanpire deal yet again. And that's pretty much the only reason for that is the fact that vampires are basically tied to that chaos. And chaos's main domain, the chaotic realm. And so it was inevitably going to happen regardless. And so we basically have to permanently kill chaos in order to stop this monotonous cycle of constant betrayal by the other side of the Lycanpire. That being the vampire side of the Lycanpire. Kind. I mean, they can't really help it. They're, basically creatures that are derived from Dracula himself. The literal, the literal servant to all of Chaos's will. And so, no wonder the denizens of Dracula, like his, descendants, would be freaking unstable. As long as Chaos lives, their instability, whenever Dracula was alive, will still remain. And so basically, that was explained as well. Bakugo and Shoto are just like... Shoto is just like, okay, regardless of what my father says, screw this. I am not about to have this taken away from me too. Even if I have to use my frickin' fire side, I don't care anymore. This is bullshit. And Bakugo's like, yeah, this is bullshit. There is no way in hell that we're gonna have this chaos guy rid us of what we worked so hard to get here for. My Kuns are alpha, and we will do what we must in order to show our loyalty. And, Bakugo's being real loyal here, and like, that's a surprise you don't see every day. Basically, them hearing about the whole chaotic realm thing, and chaos, and, well, all of that. Basically, the next fights would be as follows, like I kind of predicted. The next fight would be me versus Shoto. And Shoto would use both his eyesight and his fire side. And I would just be like, good, Shoto, you got the point. He was able to help you get the point across. We need to strengthen ourselves. And if that means you have to have more experience with your fire, in order for you to actually figure out it is your fire, see, the time you spent with me has given you a good confidence boost in order to figure that out for yourself. I see it in your eyes. You no longer consider that fire your father's. After all the time in the pack, you've become a new person. Now, time to test your skills. My other beta of our pack. And, I kind of been making the hand signs for a big old howl. I wouldn't want to howl in front of all the audience. Like, I wouldn't want to seem weird, so I just make the hands like little, sign language for a howl. And, Shoto's like, man, like, good howl. And then just been like, Hajime, like, get on with this show. Like, let's do this. And no matter, Shoto's ability to, throw ice and fire, I'd just be like, okay, let's get this over with. Shoto trying to stand on one of his icebergs to get the higher ground, I'd just be like, Shoto, you idiot. And I would just jump up into the freaking sky, where I would basically just, hit the clouds. And as soon as I did that, you would just hear me say, Raikoho. And basically, Raikoho would come from, a lightning bolt that was about to hit. And that would improve the power of the Hado, and, smack Shoto before he could even blink. And he'd be sent into a wall. And I'd be like, well, at least he just decided to use his fire. But still, Shoto, you gotta think before you do these things. So then the final thing, the final deciding factor would come into play. Freaking Bakugo and me fighting. Bakugo would show off his explosions, but he'd be doing it a lot more tactically. He wouldn't just be running in mad. He'd be doing it a lot more tactically. As a show of respect to the alpha of the pack. And I'd be like, very well done, Bakugo. It seems you've simmered down. And if anything I can tell, not exactly blind to it. You're definitely more pissed now that you know about chaos and everything. But that's why it surprises me even more that you're able to simmer down like this. More or less, I'm pretty sure that it's probably so that you can focus. But I'm about to show you why that's not going to matter in the whole things. And Bakugo would be just charging, and that's whenever he would hear Bakudo number 1, Sai. And then he would just be restrained. And he'd be like, hey, why can't I move? And I'd just be like, sorry, Bakugo, but I just can't. And I would just kind of grab him by the collar, and I'd just be like, I let go of him. And as soon as I released the Bakudo, I would just be like, Item number 4, Byakurai. And I just shoot him in the shoulder, boom! And knock him all the way back before he fall to the ground outside of the arena. And everybody would just like, go nuts. And I would just go over to Bakugo and I'd be like, I'll use my Hakudo to heal you. And, Bakugo, he wouldn't even really be able to get anything out before I'd be like, oh yeah, Shoto. And then I'd go over to Shoto and be like, recovery girl, there's no need. And I just use my Hakudo to heal Shoto's wounds. From the big old lightning bolt reinforced Raiko Ho that I hit him with. That's basically when everything was done. Basically, all things considered, Ida would get the call about what happened with his brother. And, well, basically, Ida, instead of just running off, would actually go to every single last member of the pack, including me, and be like, we need to meet up. Izuku here or not. Like, we would all go back to the dormitories eventually. And, before anything, we would just head over to one single dorm, that being my dorm. And Ida would be like, need to commence a ceremony. And, Mineta thinking that it is necessary that Izuku be over there, he would just carry Izuku from his dorm, because, Izuku would have had the key, like the spare key underneath his mat. And so that's how, Mineta would have even been able to get in. So he would have just carried Izuku over there and been like, if this is so necessary, I think we all need to be here. And besides, I think Izuku's actually getting a little bit better. Maybe not a lot, but a little bit. And I could just see what was happening to Izuku, and I'd be like, oh god, no. I fucked up. Okay. Yeah, considering what exactly I do know about the state that Izuku's in, he's the first person who's going to have the ceremony inflicted upon him. Then I'll just go down the line. This is indeed important. Izuku, because of the way he's in, I know what this is. And basically, everything would happen. It would be like, by the power of once powerful and great Black Empire race, I summon forth and commence the powers that be of the ritual of the Black Empire. Jinsei-sama. And basically, whenever I say Jinsei-sama, well, Izuku would kind of wake up a little, and he just realized he didn't feel nearly as bad as he did before. And be like, guys, why are you all here, and what happened? And where it even is here? And I'd just be like, where's my dorm? Part of the dormitories. And basically, the whole thing with the whole Black Empire ritual thing, like, yeah, I basically just did that, realizing how much I just effed up. Bakugo and Shoto and everybody else would be like, what do you mean effed up? What did you do that's so bad? And I would just be like, oh boy, this is gonna be one hell of a lot to explain. Technically, Izuku being my beta, one of them at least. And I just go over at Shoto. I'm like, one of them at least. It's safe to say that I might have needed to be a little bit more careful. Because we might just be expecting new werewolf cubs in the near future with the power of Sosuke Aizen. And the power of One for All. And Izuku would be like, wait, what? That's why I'm feeling this way? And then Izuku would remark that, some quirks can indeed do that. And I would just be like, it took you that long to remember. Yeah. This is basically the situation we're in right now. And everyone else in the pack would just be like, serious face, serious business face. And I would just continue, like, and also, if everyone here is to be safe, they must have their own power, beyond just a simple quirk. You must all, like me, become werewolves. But you see, why our pack is not only going to be stronger than any other werewolf pack, is because I'm not a simple werewolf, you see. That's the Lorde level hollow werewolf. Basically what I remember telling you guys. You even saw me transform. That's not nearly as much power as I can use in that transformation. I can push it even further if I wanted to. The most you'd probably get to see out of me if we were just sparring would be a measly 30%. Well, that is if you guys actually had the werewolf power as well. But seeing as you don't, if we were to spar right now, I'd only use 3%. That's how much of a difference the werewolf power makes with us. That's how powerful it is. You basically take a huge leap, especially with the added Vasta Lorde. We're not normal werewolves. We are werewolf no Vasta Lorde. And the fact that the vampires still haven't seemed to have noticed that gives us the advantage. A heavy amount of advantage. Considering we're about to have werewolf no Vasta Lorde pups in the future. And yes, this transformation will indeed help with your sickness. Werewolves' immune systems especially werewolf Novasta Lorde's immune systems, are a lot harder to penetrate through than just a simple immune system of a human, even one with a quirk like One for All. Even if you were 100%, nay 100,000,000%, it wouldn't matter. The werewolf Novasta Lorde would still be the one with the strongest immune system out of the three groups. And Izuku would be like, so how exactly do we get this done? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I already did it. The ceremony, that is. At least for you. Now everyone else, single file line, in order of how you are amongst the pack. The council will have my head if I do any of this wrong. And Bakugo will be like, the council? Yes, Bakugo, the council. The Black Empire Council. They are the beings of the highest order. Beings that have transcended past life and death. I would actually be afraid of their judgment if I wasn't strong enough to combat it with my own power. That of the traitor of society himself. While they may indeed be transcendent over life and death, my power is that of one comparable to theirs, plus that of Sosuke Aizen before he was trapped in Mukin, and then later on used as an ally to the Soul Society. All the way until he was finally stabbed through by the very Quincy God himself. So basically, yeah. I mean, I'm more or less concerned about the whole council's opinion. Not really because I think they're going to kill me or anything, but, well, because they're annoying whenever they get angry. Like, they're annoying usually, but whenever they get angry, oh, they get a lot more annoying. And, well, that basically everything would be said. And, well, I'd just be like, okay, guys, single file lines, remember, in order of your position in the pack. So that would mean, Shoto, you're in front now. And then Bakugo, and then Manita and, like, basically, Manita. Mineta and Ida went in whichever, order you want to do. And basically, Mineta would be like, maybe I should get mine done first. I mean, Ida, I know your whole thing and all, but think about it. They say always expect the unexpected. Those vampires would never expect that from us. Like, even at our most desperate, they probably wouldn't expect it. And I would just be like, oh yes, bravo, Mineta. Clever thinking. And Ida would be like, yeah, that does indeed sound smart. So I'll be just like, so I guess it will be Shoto, Bakugo, then Mineta, then Ida. Oh, and if you're wondering about the whole Stain thing, yes, I heard the news. I also heard that there is a pro-hero that is also involved in this, Native, who, if my senses are indeed directing me in the right way, he won't stand a chance against Stain. But don't worry, you won't be alone whenever you go off to find this Stain guy. Plus, with your improved sense of smell, as a werewolf, we'll be able to find him, and you'll be able to find him with us a lot easier than if you were a normal human. And he just like, Well, I guess that's a rather good incentive to get this thing on over with. And I'm like, okay then. There we go. And Shoto's like, well, I do feel somewhat different. Almost like I feel a lot stronger. And I'm basically like, yeah, the werewolf transformation will kind of help you in the areas that you're lacking. It will, like, even everything out and also improve everything that's already evened out. After it's evened everything out, it will make improvements onto what it's already evened out, making your body, like, several times stronger, faster, have more agility, more dexterity, all sorts of different things. And along with those things, sense of smell and sense of hearing. But another one of those things would be an added weakness to silver. Yeah. Like, not just silver bullets, but silver weapons in general. That superstition about werewolves is indeed true. But unlike what you would probably think, if you wanted to truly kill a werewolf, you see, if you just use a regular silver weapon, you can only temporarily kill a werewolf. The only way you can truly kill a werewolf for good is, at least either for good or until the reincarnation process started, back up again, is if you had it blessed with holy water. Several times over. And probably around the same many times that the very silver was folded in order to create the blade. Would be the best estimate for me, if you wanted to get the most out of that kill. So yeah. And basically Ida would be like, so how do we tell if, I'm sure we can all tell if it's a weapon that's silver or not. It's pretty obvious. But, on the whole side of if it's blessed with holy water or not, how do we tell about that? And I'd just be like, That's where it comes in being handy, not just being any werewolf, but being a Vastalorde werewolf. Hueco Mundo, the realm of the Hollows, is one of many realms. It is above Hell, but not above Soul Society. Yet it is not on the same plane of existence as the mortal realm. It is somewhere in between all of those things. I guess the best way to say it is, I will have to gift you with the ability to also use Ryatsu, but only in a minimalist portion. I will help you by giving you this Ryatsu so that you may be able to tell if a weapon is blessed or not. And by whom. Because technically, if someone blesses a weapon with the power of satanic force, like the chaotic realm, it would actually technically make us stronger. So, the advent of Ryatsu actually helps a lot. So basically, after it's been everyone's turn to basically get their werewolf forms, I basically shoot my hands out and, give them sort of like the building blocks to their own Ryatsu. And, have them basically do mental training in order to figure out a way to tell if something is blessed, and if it is blessed, if it's blessed by something of a holy force or something of like a force of a chaotic realm. Or if it's just not blessed at all, or it's just regular silver. And, just with your eyes alone, you can tell if something is silver or not, so it doesn't really need all that much help in that area. And another good benefit, I'd just basically be like, another good benefit of Reiatsu is if you mix it in with your killing intent and your bloodlust, you can make said killing intent and said bloodlust even stronger than even in your transformation. Truly is useful for things. Basically, yeah. One thing I do decide to teach everyone is the art of Shunpo. Because, I don't want anybody falling behind. And basically, be able to keep up with me in terms of speed. Basically, Izuku, now that he does have the form, and considering he is the first beta, and just the second beta, he at least would need to be able to get a good amount of that Shunpo training. Though I don't try to push him too hard. I mean, the whole thing that I figured out about, I wouldn't want to do that. So yeah, basically comes the whole thing with internships and agencies, like internships at a hero agency, and also picking our hero names. And I basically decided on my hero name. Wolf. The Alpha Wolfpack hero, Sosuke Aizen. And, well, yeah. Whenever it comes to the whole Stain arc, it first indeed would look like he either came alone to have vengeance for his brother. But that's the thing. Whenever it would look like either would be at his most defenseless, Satan would then see a claw show up to catch his blade, and he'd be like, what the hell? You didn't have a claw before. And he would be like, you stupid, stupid fool. And he would just kick Stain off of him. And then he would just, turn into the werewolf transformation, be like, oh! And, another good benefit to having Reiatsu is we can make our clothing flexible so that we don't look naked once we're out of the transformation. Kind of like the Sailor Vegeta had whenever he first visited Earth, back in the Saiyan Saga. It stretches with us. Now it's probably a good perk about, Reiatsu. And, Stain will just realize he was being cornered by several different, werewolf-like creatures. So yeah, he just gets sicked on. And left to just be, got by the police. And we would all just move out with, you know, native with us. We just take native because, like, no, he's not like us. He's not a werewolf, so he's going to need help. And if you guys are wondering if, it got to the point where Ida was on the ground, then how did he move? He was supposed to be paralyzed. And I remind you, he is a werewolf. A lot stronger immune system than that of a mere human. So yes, indeed, he was acting. He was acting the part. And he was actually a pretty good actor, because he fooled Stain. He even made him think he was scared of him. So yeah, that's basically... Everyone will pretty much go to the same people that they go to. And who I would go to? More or less in order to ensure that Izuku was, continued to be safe, I would go to the same hero agency as, Izuku went to. Torino's agency, Gran Torino. And before Izuku could even, freak out for 1 second, I'd be like, Izuku, smell him. And Izuku would be like he gonna get woofed. And be like, he isn't dead. He just, tripped and spilled a bottle of ketchup. And I'd be like, very good, Izuku. Now, I just pick Gran Torino up and slam him against the wall. Baka, stop with your shit. How dare you try to trick us like that? And Izuku would be like, whoa, you don't need to go that far. And, Gran Torino would be like, holy shit, that guy was fast. And, wait, is it me or are his eyes red? Yes, another trait of both werewolves and vampires. The color of our eyes. Not only that, but we can choose to make them glow. As an intimidation tactic. And in the case of vampires, not just an intimidation tactic, but a way to, hypnosis and shit. But I just basically have him against the wall, fine, Izuku, let go of the little stupid man. And Gran Torino would be like, both of you came to enter at my agency. And yeah, I'd be like, yeah, my friend was told that you were basically his teacher. Basically, All Might's teacher. And he was given a quirk by All Might. A whole one-for-all thing. And basically, Torino would be like, so you want me to teach you? You don't have one for all yet. You can here. And I just whispered to Gran Torino, just like, it's for his safety. There's a little something that happened, and I'm trying to make sure that Izuku stays safe. And you don't mention a peep of what happens here, or else I will make you suffer before you die. And I would just put on the light show again, and Gran Torino would be like, okay, yeah, sure. And one thing about werewolves is, at least the werewolves I'm doing in this story, having in this story, the alpha's eyes glow red, the beta's eyes glow blue, the omega's eyes glow green. And in the case of the pup, actually no, the Amigo's eyes actually go like white and black, or black and white. And the pup's eyes glow green. Because pup is like around the main like class as like betas. Because they could be anything in between like betas and omegas. See, I got red golden eyes to this man. Basically, Torino still has us like try to catch him. Basically, I'm just like, Izuku, wait here a second. And I just be like, and just like, ding! And Torino will be like, what the hell was that? Wait, why am I upside down? And I'd be like, because I'm holding you upside down, Baka. And Gran Torino would be like, how the hell did this happen? And I'm like, you don't know who you're dealing with now, do you? And I would just drop Gran Torino, and like the split second in which he tried to get up, I would just force him back down with my spiritual pressure. Shatter, Kyoka, Suigetsu. The power of illusions. Of all 5 of your senses. And that's not all. You see, I'm the alpha of my own pack. And you know, I would just flare up my eyes again to show, Gran Torino how seriously I was being. And basically, not moments afterwards, basically Gran Torino would be taking us out to go through Hosu, and any activity there, we would be taking the train. That's whenever the Nomu would attack the train. And then we would just look outside and see all the different Nomus like spreading about, causing chaos. Seems like they delayed their attack time, because this attack was supposed to be going on at the same time that Stain. But basically, whenever All For One heard about how Stain was ripped to shreds by werewolves, yeah, and there was actual proof in his ripped to shred corpse, yeah, All For One decided to delay the whole attack until this point here. But that's not going to help him, considering, with all the improved senses, me and my buds, we kind of know how to flow. Even though it's just me and Izuku there, I make sure to cover for Izuku whenever Izuku's not able to cover for himself. And basically, at one point, Izuku just shows his own level of savagery as he just smacks his paw down on one of their little dome brains, rips the brain out, and on the brain, and just eats it. As the Nomu would just die. After Izuku just using it as a chew toy, like what's left of its body. And I'd be like, whatever. Whatever helps, honey. Whatever helps. And then I'd send a couple more Nomus, and I'd be like, damn it, Nomus. And I'd just be like, at least I'll have food. And then I would just go like, from 30% of my werewolf form, all the way to 55%, like, 55 at least, like, and just charge straight in. And, Izuku would notice eventually that it had been, like, considerably long time, like, from when I went in, and, like, I still haven't came out. And the moment whenever Izuku's about to, try to find me, is whenever I just show up out of nowhere, just shooting poing. and I am covered in blood. And I'm just like, sorry about that, Izu-kun. Sorry for the mess. If I got anything on your chew toy, I'm sorry. And if I got anything on you, well, I'm double sorry. And Izuku would just be like, don't be. It's our natural nature as werewolves to have a joy in the hunt. I was just getting worried about you, and I was about to try to find you. Even though I know that's stupid given my condition. And I'd just be like, well, hey, even in your condition, you were still able to, like, beat the ever-living shit out of the frickin' Homo, and now you're even using its dead corpse as a chew toy. Anyways, how exactly does that, feel in your jaws? And Izuku would just be like, tasty. And then I'd just be like this blood on your face. And I'd just nuzzle up against Izuku, and Izuku would be like, hey, stop that. And then I'd just start licking him in the face. And Izuku would be like, hey, I said stop it. And then, like, Izuku would also get into his werewolf form, and we would kind of, like, be, like, playing around, and just be like, we would be having fun. Safe to say, we'd be having a good amount of fun. That's until Gran Torino finds us, and basically Orlis Healy's finds Izuku. After I basically dunked Izuku into the river, like, nearby river, to make sure that, Gran Torino didn't see any of the blood. Basically, I myself am at the bottom of the river, not only to make sure that, I get the blood off of me, but to reel in some food. Like, stock up. Because, if I'm to, provide for my pack, I gotta provide for my pack. And, well, I would just finally come up with the necessary stuff. And he's like, I hope you're not planning on making us eat that raw. And I'd just be like, oh, hell no. Not you guys. You guys are way too awesome to have to eat this shit raw. Only ever eat it raw if we had to. And even then, the way our new forms work really wouldn't, do anything. Me and Izuku were just whispering in between each other, and Gran Torino would be like, ahem. And Izuku would be like, and I'd just be like, yeah, what do you want, old man? Total disrespect. But hey, I have literal Aizen's Reiatsu inside of me. What do you expect? And so, yeah, with that whole thing ending off, this part ends off with the end of the Stain arc. Cause that one's freaking, basically I want to see Adas's my wonderful, beautiful Dark Shadow Maverick Nation. Because I am the Dark Shadow Maverick, and I am OUT out of here. Yeah, boys. Like, favorite, subscribe. Click that little bell. Something in the comment section. And I'm a bounce like a squid in my blue suede shoes. Eat and I'll eat. Misdirection. Oh, and as one last piece for this. No, I'm saving it for the next part. Whenever that comes out.